$2 bajillion.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the slate. Adam Kaufman and what a crew. There's so many people we're going to show you. Jeff Ulrich, Gary and Thorne, Matt LaMarca. We're going to bounce around. LaMarca's going to wax poetic on Nikola Jokic. Gary's going to tell us about his favorite baseball plays. But we begin with Moose because he's the resident hockey guy. And there's a pretty big Stanley Cup final. Game 5 tonight in Vegas for the Golden Knights. Up 3-1, going to try and put away the Panthers. Matt Tkachuk, he's a mystery. Will he play? Won't he play? Only Paul Maurice and maybe Tkachuk know the answer to that question. Jeff, what's going on and what do you expect tonight?
What's up, man? Yeah, no, I was just doing some calculations to see if I'll still be alive when Avatar 5 comes out. But I'm expecting more of the same. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be. I mean, Vegas has dominated this series the first 4 games. We haven't seen any flip. Expected goal percentage, expected goal rate. Vegas has dominated 5-on-5. They've taken care of their power play chances. They've been extremely good defensively. They've blocked 61 shots over the last 2 games. I think you're going to see similar to what you've seen in game 3 and 4. I don't really have a reason to think that the Panthers all of a sudden without Tkachuk at 100% or without him altogether just aren't going to be that good. And right now, with the way the money line's going, I mean, Matthew Tkachuk's status does not look so positive. So keeping that all in mind here, ways to play this game. I think that the under is pretty appealing. I think that the one thing that I do kind of expect Sergei Bobrovsky to show up. I'm not playing for a blowout necessarily, but one thing Vegas has done when they've gotten up is they've dumped a lot of pucks in, and they really haven't taken many shots on net. They've just basically shut down the Panthers, blocking shots, keeping them to the outside. I think the under here is probably the play. I think you can probably parlay it with the Vegas Golden Knights money line if you want. And, if you want to get really spicy, you could look to some of the alt lines like under 5.5 instead of 6. For a same game parlay I'm talking about.
I was just going to ask you about that as far as the alternate total. Do you like the under so much that you would play under 5.5 just to get the plus money on it?
No, I don't think you need to do that. I would just play the 6. But again, for same game parlays, it's a little bit different because again, the parlays, we're not getting as good odds. So, I mean, I think taking a little bit of a risk makes sense there. Also kind of like the Panthers under 2.5 goals as well. Mm-hmm. Another way you could play it for a same game parlay, but there's lots of ways to mix in. I gave out something like similar to that on the NHL network, but if you want to get real crazy tonight, what about an overtime prop? That's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know. I do think this game is going to be close. Kind of a little bit similar to what we saw maybe in basketball last night where, Florida had nothing to lose, probably going to play a little bit harder. Wouldn't be shocked even if they got the first goal in this game, but I think ultimately the better team breaks through. So I'm just playing for a close game. Nothing crazy tonight. I don't think you need to do anything different than what's been going on, like I said. But from a game line perspective, Golden Knights money line, I know it's moved all the way to minus 190, but maybe just looking to parlay it with some kind of like under total. I think that might be the way to play it now that the line has moved so much in favor of Vegas.
Yeah, obviously there's
Jeff, does the NHL have a ref that they can stick in the replay center like the NBA did with Scott Foster last night?
No, the NHL isn't rigged like the NBA. Sorry, friend. Okay. It's just
Just wanted to see.
There's no scripts in the NHL. We haven't reached that level of popularity yet. The script writing, is like at least 3 years away. So
okay, cool.
Are you a big enough believer in Vegas though to where you would look at it and say clearly there's no value in the money line unless obviously you're just putting a lot of money down and then you're getting your 50% return versus playing the puck line and getting that plus money?
I think that I would probably rather go to the player props and look for value there than taking the puck line. I think if you're playing the puck line, again, it makes more sense as like same game parlay. But if you're looking to like goalie props, I think goalie props is a different way you could play this game. I kind of like the under on both goalies in a little bit. But if you do like, Florida, so to speak, like I think taking the under on 28.5 saves for Adin Hill is another way to play Vegas. Vegas is not going to allow a ton of shots. And I just don't like, I just think that like Adin Hill, if he has to make over like 29 saves, it's probably not really a good thing, to be honest, with the way that Vegas has been playing. So I actually think the under saves for Adin Hill is like pretty bullish for Vegas. Like if he goes under that prop, it probably means he's only got like faced 25 shots on net. So that's one thing to think about. I actually kind of like the under for Bobrovsky too, for similar reasons, but
Mm.
I'd rather play the under on Aiden Hill tonight. So another kind of couple of props to think about there. Just with the way Vegas has been blocking shots, I think if Hill goes under that prop, there's a good chance they just win and Florida's held to like 1 goal or something.
If Tkachuk doesn't play, or even if he does, and like you said, he's not at 100%, who has the advantage here? Who's a good guy to target, whether it's, want to get a little friskier and you look at an anytime goal scorer, or if you're just looking at player point props or shot props and saying this guy's going to be in a good position?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Marchessault finally didn't score a goal in a game, but like he's minus 400 to win the MVP. He's been their best player. I really would not be shocked if he just scored again. He's plus 105 now, which again, it's really short for a goal scoring prop. I think another player to kind of target down, and I actually like this one a little bit better, but Mark Stone is just a really, really solid player. Looking for some Mark Stone props is something I'd be pretty interested in. Mark Stone is real. I know Marchessault is the guy who's been getting all the accolades. But Mark Stone is the guy who really stirs the drink for Vegas. Like if he didn't come back, they would not be here. He is completely pivotal to their attack. He's been shooting the puck a lot in this series, over 2.5 shots I'd be okay with. And also looking to him as an anytime goal scorer. Again, you're looking for a name like other than Marchessault here to really just kind of seal this for Vegas. That's where you'd look. It's Mark Stone at plus 180. So definitely Mark Stone props, I think, fine to play tonight. If you're looking down, if you're looking for someone other than Marchessault to kind of get off, because I mean, again, there's just at plus 105. I mean, there's just not much. There's not much value in terms of a goal scoring prop there. So,
LaMarca, I know you've just been tearing it up when it comes to your betting picks this hockey playoff season.
Damn right I have.
To add before we let Jeff go and chase the moose out in Western Canada?
Unfortunately, I think that the injury to Tkachuk is kind of killing a lot of our betting value here. I'm not really all that familiar with hockey injuries, so Jeff can speak to this better than I would. But Vegas was, I want to say they were like minus 125, minus 130 in game one, and I know that they have played really well, but to see the money line shoot up all the way to minus 190, feels pretty odd to me. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the injury, but how many points on the money line could one skater really be worth? I mean, we're talking about a guy who sees maybe 20 minutes of ice time, Jeff.
The only thing I'll say to that is I think that what you're seeing is like a liquidity thing. There's no NBA on. I think a lot of people are just, they saw Denver close it last night, and I think you're just seeing people, just trying to pile in on the same thing. So I think it's actually more that than the injury.
Okay.
You're right in saying like this probably isn't worth that much, although Matthew Tkachuk has been probably, if not the best forward in the playoffs, one of the best. So he definitely is worth a couple points or whatever, however you want to slice it. But it's a valid point. Like I don't think Tkachuk being, let's just say, injured or not 100% is necessarily worth like a line move from minus 140 to minus 190. It's probably somewhere in between that. But I just think that a lot of it's just the momentum with Vegas right now. So yeah, I mean, like I said off the top, it's hard for me to just say, oh yeah, just pound the money line now that it's got there. I actually think that there's a pretty good argument to bet the Panthers here because Bobrovsky is still like capable of stealing this game. And that alone at like the price that Panthers is at is almost worth taking a shot with. But I do still think Vegas wins tonight. Like, I just think that they win. So, looking for ways to play it, like I said, parlaying it with the under or something, maybe just looking at the player props is certainly at this point with the price, probably the way I would still lean.
So just to bring hockey home here for anyone just joining us, how about a favorite bet or two for you involving this game tonight?
For me?
For you.
I literally just gave you like 10.
I know, but boiling it down to your absolute favorite. I know you gave a bunch that you like, but your favorite one.
Okay, well, no, let's go with under 6.5 goals.
My God, I didn't think it was an unreasonable.
I've that's what we've been talking about. I'm going to go Vegas money line under 6.5 goals. We'll parlay it together.
And Jeff, before you go, could you once again reiterate what's the difference between a total of 6 and 5.5?
Jeff, who's going to win this game tonight? Let's go through all of them. We'll do them all
The Edmonton
again.
Oilers. They've already
Thank
won
you.
the Stanley Cup.
Before you do go, though, and I only want one thought on this because you'll have a whole show to do it tomorrow, but just while you're here, a quick U.S. Open preview thought, something that you are leaning in the direction of right now as you sit, 36 or however many hours out.
Siwoo Kim. That's what I'm leaning. Get some action on Siwoo. He's playing great golf.
What's Siwoo going off at?
He's around 6,000. Anything 6,000 or better. Let's make Siwoo happen this week. He's gonna have a big week.
All right. Listen, I hope you're right. I want you to be right. It's important that people tail your.
I got my Bryson exposure because of Jeff, so that's who I'm rooting for.
Bryson's a good price too.
All right, Moose. We're
All
gonna
right, boys. Have a good rest of the show with Kaufman.
Thanks for joining.
Hey, repeat yourself 10 times.
Don't get out of here until T Pike says that you're allowed to. All right, let's Lamarca, we don't want to spend a lot of time on this because there's nothing to bet on unless of course you're excited about futures, and we can mix that in, but just looking sort of retrospectively at least a little bit on the Nuggets series win, a rather convincing one over the Heat. And I think it's a weird way to put this when talking about a two-time regular season MVP, but honestly, it's been nice to see Jokic finally truly get his due, because that guy dealt with way too many doubters for someone that has clearly been as good as he has been for a long time. Like now people are finally kind of waking up to, hey, he's a champion. Can you get off his case?
Yeah, no, and honestly, people that I feel like if you were watching the NBA and did have an appreciation for how good this guy is, there were lots of opportunities to make money with the Nuggets during this postseason. I mean, I had them to win the West. I had them to win in 5 or less against the Lakers and 5 or less against the Heat, and all of them came through. So I have a ton of respect for what Nikola Jokic just did. I mean, arguably the greatest postseason performance in history. If you look at points, rebounds, plus assists per 36 minutes, no NBA champion has ever had more than what Jokic has done. Not Wilt Chamberlain, not Bill Russell, not LeBron. Jokic is at the top of the mountain as far as per 36 stats go. So game 5, I thought, was just a testament to what we've seen from the Nuggets. Like they played probably their C+ game, maybe even worse. They couldn't shoot at all in the first half. Things were a little bit better in the second, but Jokic just carried them there. The one criticism I have is I would like to see a little bit more happiness out of Nikola Jokic.
Can I go home now?
The guy wins the finals, the peak of what you could do as a basketball player, and he just really didn't care. And I'm not saying, like, you can say you don't want the individual accolades. If you don't want the finals MVP trophy, that's fine. But you're playing basketball to win a title and you do it. And it seemed like the guy really couldn't care. That was the only negative thing I have to say about Nikola Jokic through this whole process.
He looked like he had fun when he tossed Jamal Murray into the pool inside the locker room or whatever.
That was it, though. That was the only moment. That was the one moment where it looked like he was actually having fun. Like, nothing. Like his brothers were like
robot.
Were lifting Mike Malone up and throwing him into the air. They cared more than he did.
Right. Because Kawhi is a robot, but even when Kawhi won, even
there was
he
emotion.
Showed some emotion. Same thing with Giannis. But I digress. And I think you want to tie this to next season. I don't know who really is stopping the Nuggets from getting back to the finals in the Western Conference. The Lakers are only getting older. Same for the Warriors, right? Phoenix is kind of in a state of turmoil. You've got the myriad of health issues that Kevin Durant seems to face every year. Like, I don't know where the challenge is coming from, right? Denver kind of just cruised to the top seed in the West this season. And as we have seen, they are just really, really hard to beat at home. So, all the things that I said about Jokic and how he didn't seem to care, that's probably a good thing for their chances of repeating next season. Because it's not like there's going to be a letdown, right? It's not like you have to worry about him getting too high after this peak that he just experienced. You know, the guy's just going to be back in Serbia with his horses anyway. So I think that they could very well make it back to the finals again.
I generally agree with everything that you're saying, but I think one, Bruce Brown's probably going to leave. And he is a big part of that team. I'm not saying he's the difference between winning a title or not. But
good sixth man. That's findable on the market.
Had some great playoff games. He's going to get paid. I'm not saying he's going to like get some supermax deal or something, but he's going to get paid. Certainly going to get more than the $7 or $8 million that the Nuggets have room to offer him. Beyond that, I think one thing that is worth noting, obviously, is this is the first time, like, the Nuggets have been capable of doing this for years. What has led them to falling short has not been Jokic. He's been unbelievable. Has just been the fact they haven't been able to stay healthy around him. This year they did. They won the title. Injuries were unpredictable, so there's no way to know about next year. But I guess what I would say to, you know, any potential bettors out there, and I will ask you, is, doesn't it?
You asked me. I haven't talked in a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Gary. I'm gonna ask Gary. Don't you believe that it's just way too early to even place a futures bet anyway for next year? Like, we're not at free agency. There are going to be trades that are made. You know, as you said, like LaMarca, the Suns are going to change. The Lakers may change. The Celtics have the second best odds. There are the Jaylen Brown rumors. Like, there are going to be some shakeups, however big or small, obviously, this offseason, because there always are. And I don't know, they're already the favorites, so it's not like you're getting any value. Like, what's the rush to even place a futures bet right now?
Well, those are two different questions. If you're asking me, is now a good time to place a futures bet? I would say yes, because there is so much uncertainty that if you can be the one who kind of sees the tea leaves, there's value to be had here that won't be had when the dust is settled and all the rosters are together. If you're asking me, is now a good time to bet the favorite? No, it's never a great time to bet the favorite. I think this is a board where this is what the odds to win the championship should have been throughout the regular season. We are finally seeing the course correction. It just took the Nuggets actually winning a title for that to happen. I mean, if I had any patience or editing skills, I would go back through the, 45 to 50 episodes of The Slate Matt and I did throughout the regular season, and I would pull out all the clips of us saying, wow, you should probably bet the Nuggets at some price between 12-1 and 17-1, insert here. They're winning the West. They're probably going to have home court advantage throughout the entirety of the NBA playoffs. That seems like a pretty good deal. The Suns are being overvalued, or the Warriors are being overvalued, or the Lakers are being overvalued. So we're finally seeing the market correct. It just happened way too late. I think the Nuggets are, as currently constructed, properly priced. I mean, the West is just really weird. Do I think there's places to go that are more enticing and have more value? Of course. I think Cleveland's kind of an interesting one at 25-1. Obviously you just get whatever's going to happen with Evan Mobley in year 3. Does he make like a massive jump? Do we see some sort of playmaking revolution with him? And, we've been told time and time again, he's an above average playmaker for a big man that kind of tapered off a little bit in season 2. But the Cavaliers are also in a really interesting situation where something kind of has to happen. Like, they're under a weird amount of pressure, at least a weird amount of pressure for a team that just did a big move less than 365 days ago. I mean, they're in a spot where Donovan Mitchell, this might be his last season in Cleveland. Like, they have pressure to keep this guy happy and keep him and want to keep him in Cleveland. So, they might make a big move. And again, I think you kind of look for teams like that, where who has another big addition that they could go out and make. Not necessarily saying they have to make it, but just who is in that mindset right now. And then who has guys internally who could take big leaps. So I think Cleveland for me is kind of that team. If you want to take like a quote unquote, it's not even a long shot, like a half long shot right now. Sure. They're kind of interesting to me.
Well, in that same ballpark odds wise, LaMarca, you could look at the Heat, not just because they were just there, obviously, but if
hard pass on the Heat.
Well, I was going to say because of all the smoke about Damian Lillard. If you believe Lillard's going to wind up, don't care.
No.
Okay.
No. Listen, Damian Lillard is a fine basketball player. I think the finals prove that the Heat are a long way away from winning a championship. I understand that they got there, but I think everything broke in their favor pretty perfectly. And it would not shock me if that's the closest that they ever get. So I don't think that bringing in Damian Lillard is enough to push that team over the top. And, you know, to what Garion said sort of about reading the tea leaves, I do think that he makes a good point, right? Like there's no real value in taking the Nuggets at this very moment, but I struggle to see a move that happens in the Western Conference that results in the Nuggets not being the favorite, right?
This probably wouldn't be enough name value to get the Suns there, but let's say the Suns or the Lakers can pull off a sign and trade for VanVleet. That probably doesn't make them the favorite, right?
No, I don't think so. I was thinking more, if anything, the Lakers are going to try to get Kyrie.
Right.
And that I think maybe makes it close, but I mean, the Nuggets just ran through the Lakers, right? And it's not like Kyrie Irving is coming off this incredible season. He pretty much torpedoed the Dallas Mavericks. So
yeah, that's one of those paradox moves where he's a big enough name that everyone's going to want to bet the Lakers anyway. And then it's Kyrie, it's shoved down your throat on ESPN, but it might make them worse, honestly.
Right. And as far as the Bruce Brown thing, I love Bruce Brown. The Nuggets got great minutes out of him. Bruce Brown type players look a whole lot better when they're playing next to a guy like Nikola Jokic. So it would not shock me at all if the Nuggets paid a guy way less money than what Bruce Brown is going to get in free agency, and he comes in and he does very similar things to what Bruce Brown just did for them.
Just adding one more team to like this sort of someone's got like they're gonna make a big move maybe that could affect their number by the time we get past the draft. I mean, we literally are less than 24 hours away from Woj reporting that the Pelicans might be looking to trade into the top 3. Like the Pelicans have ammo. I know we can laugh about just the Zion Williamson saga and everything that's been, but the Pelicans were the best team in the Western Conference, or one of the 2 best teams in the Western
People
Conference.
People forget how good that guy is.
And Zion's amazing. If he can ever play a full season, if they start accumulating some of that draft capital they have and turn that into another high-end rotation piece, 35-1 is not, it's the right price right now. Yeah. But the Pelicans are a team that are hungry to do something. And that just, again, that means their number isn't going to be 35-1 when the season starts next year.
I like that call.
All right, the few minutes we've got left before, obviously, the Madden simulation comes your way. That will be the virtual Chiefs and Colts. Do want to mix in a little bit of baseball because, Garion, we got a meaty slate tonight. 15 games across the docket? The first one starting a little less than an hour from now. Fittingly, we've got a question in the chat from our buddy CEH pertaining to that very first game, Atlanta in Detroit, which is Spencer Strider, 9.5 strikeouts over under. And I would say that number's climbed. I thought I saw it earlier at 8.5. So
it's a healthy number
over under.
It's hard for me. Again, I don't know the price on that bet. I'm assuming it's like plus 110, plus 115 to the over, something like that. But It's fine. There are strikeout props I like better, if I'm being honest. Look, Strider has the capability to do that, but my favorite strikeout prop on the board tonight is Corbin Burns over 7.5 against Minnesota. That's paying plus 115, plus 120. You can take a shot, like it's fine. But again, I would rather take Corbin Burns over 7.5. I mean, he's really found himself again these last 3 starts. There's some talk in Milwaukee that like he's got a personal catcher situation going. Like maybe he didn't like William Contreras all that much. I don't know. William Contreras not catching him again tonight, but his strikeout rate is up over 30% his last 3 starts, in line with his career numbers. Minnesota has the highest strikeout rate in the month of June, up at 28.7%. So I think he goes over that number. And then one that's a lot less sexy, but I'm just going to keep betting it as long as it's at 4.5. And it kind of consistently has been his last handful of starts. Chris Bassett over 4.5 strikeouts. He's done that in 10 of his last 12 starts. He's not really a strikeout guy, but he works deep enough into games consistently where he just racks up counting stats. I think 4.5, it's up at minus 135 now. It was at minus 115 earlier today. So again, it really speaks to just that number being off.
Well, if it goes beyond
minus 140.
Yeah, there you go. If it goes beyond strikeout props in the minute we've got left, how about just a best bet from either of you for tonight?
Well, Matt wrote up some money line plays. He can explore that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have 3 posted over on the DK playbook, so feel free to check those out. But I'm actually fading the Braves. I like the Tigers' first 5 innings money line. I also like, if you want another long shot, I'm on the White Sox money line. Although their odds have come down quite a bit since I wrote them up. They're plus 165 now. And the other game I chose
Reds, right?
Yes, the Reds, who are now favored at minus 115. They were, I think, minus 105 earlier, but neither team has a good pitcher. One team is significantly better offensively. So
very good. All right. Time for us to go, but it's a Tuesday, so you got a lot more slate. I did it again. Slate and sweat, both of those, not the same show, but separated by parts of day. They will be coming your way the rest of the week, Wednesday through Friday. Plenty of opportunity to preview, obviously, the U.S. Open, maybe recap hockey, and not look ahead to a Game 6. We'll find out what happens tonight, though. Happy betting, obviously. In the meantime, go back, digest some of this show if you missed any of it, because we can give you, Jeff will give you his best bets over and over and over again for tonight's game. So make sure you get those in. Thanks to Gary, and thanks to Lamarca, Moose earlier, Eamon, our producer, T Pike, undercover boss Tom, our technical director, Kaufman here. We will see you again tomorrow and throughout the day and days to come. Bye.